Okay. Let's see. Hey, Andrea, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you just fine. You can hear and you can
Oh,
see.
awesome.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
Andrea's here tonight to talk a little bit about what it's like having a family member live in addiction. And with that, my friend, we will turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, Daniel. Merry Christmas, everybody, and thank you for sharing your stories. My story started a couple of years ago. I had a family member was starting with addictions. One drug next, then another drug, and then the last one was not a well, no drugs are great, but she became a full blown addict. Yeah, it's been a hard slog on myself, my family. You know, we blame ourselves as mothers, as fathers. We can't help but think, well, did I do something wrong? Did I cause this? And I, I still blame myself to this day. It doesn't matter how many times I get told it's not my fault. I'll always find some reason for it to be my fault. You know, was I not a good mum? Did I do the wrong thing when we emigrated out here? You know, we emigrated out to give our kids a better life. And then this happens, and then it just snowballs. Um, and then I found a very nice lady, and it was just sheer coincidence that I found this lady called Patricia Whitebear. And it was just something, one of my kids, she actually works in healthcare, had done a visit to um, the harm reduction place in Saskatoon. And she had just said, Mum, I've got this email, give this lady a shout and see where it takes you. And it took me about a week thinking about, do I really want to share this with other people? I felt sure, really ashamed of what was going on because all the time it was, this doesn't happen to me, this doesn't happen to my family. But if there's one thing I did learn is drugs don't care what color of skin you have, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, what country you come from, what country you live in. It doesn't care. So I became friends with this Patricia, and she was holding a support group in Saskatoon, the Crystal Mouth Caring Support Group. And I went there on the Thursday night, and I was my turn to talk, and I bawled. That's all I did. All I did was cry, 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 cry. And they just listened. Like everybody just sat and just listened. No judgment. They didn't care what color of my skin was. Everybody was there to help each other. Um, and since then, I've been going, as much as I possibly can. For any parents that are, we go through it as well, wondering when that doorbell rings or the phone rings at 10 o'clock at night, and, is she, are they dead? Or because we live with that every day, every single day we live with that. And if it wasn't for this group, I don't know where I would be today. I think I probably would have had a nervous breakdown. I was really heading for one. It was affecting my health, my sanity, my marriage. It was causing problems with my other family members because you just don't know what to do, and people say, don't enable them, they have to hit rock bottom. But I don't want that to happen. I don't want them to hit rock bottom because what is their rock bottom? Do you know what I mean? And I was enabling him. I was, heck, I'd even make soups and take them down to other people, you know, because in my mind, if I'm feeding others, they'll help my family member, because I can't be there to help. I can't be there to solve or pick them up off the floor. I mean, the beatings that they get, and it's just dreadful. It really is dreadful. There's not enough education at all, and more education needs to be brought in to the schools from a younger age than what they're doing now, if they do anything now. Because when they're young, it's just for a laugh. They're out with the mates and they're having a good laugh and they think it's clever, and then they move on to the next drug because they no longer get a high from that one. And then when they no longer get a high from that drug, they move on to the next one. And it's so cheap to buy on the streets. It's unbelievably cheap. It's unreal. It's less than a McDonald's from some people. And children are involved and they're wondering, where's the parent? Are they okay? And then you start lying to them and telling them, daddy or mummy's sick, and it's a vicious circle. But if it wasn't for this support group that Patricia started, I don't know where I would be today. I really don't. I made some good friends. We have new members that have joined, and they're working really hard on their recoveries. It's I just wish there was more funding or more education for kids, in middle school. I don't mean children in high school, because they've already started at that age. I think more real facts of life need to be taught in schools. And I probably wouldn't have said that or even agreed with that if I hadn't been going through what I've gone through. If somebody was saying this to me, I would be saying, you don't want to be teaching children that young. They don't need to hear about stuff like that. But, they've probably already heard about it. They've probably already seen something about it. And then they go and find out from the mates in the playground. It's serious right now, and our children are dying. There's a fentanyl thing going on, and the amount of people I hear that have died from that, it's tragic. It truly is tragic. These parents are grieving, and brothers and sisters, and the children are grieving for the parents. There's so many dying right now because there's just not enough help, or they're too scared to get help. Maybe they think they're going to be judged, or I don't know. All I can say is that the group I'm in, judge nobody. We're just here to listen and to help in any way we can. Because even if it means becoming an advocate, if you need help. I know some of the healthcare workers are not as passionate as they should be. There's still a lot of stigma around even the medical profession. These it makes me understand why they don't want to get clean, because who wants to put themselves through all of that and then not know if they're still going to make it? So it's easier just to take the next hit. But every time you take that next hit, are you going to survive? And I see that, you see lots of posts and things on Facebook, a mother's lost a son, a mother's lost a daughter, and that's all it is these days, is somebody's losing somebody. And it's to do with the drugs, and like I say, fentanyl's on the streets right now, and people are dying left, right, and centre. But yeah, there's one thing I did learn, is that drugs don't care about the colour of your skin, what race you are, where you live, where you're from, how much money you've got, how much money you haven't got, how many kids you've got. It doesn't care, and it doesn't make you a bad person because you're an addict. Nobody wakes up and says, oh, I want to be an addict today. Nobody does that. You just made a choice, and now you're living with that. And I just wish more and more would try and seek out help. If you don't want to go to a medical profession, seek out some groups, some support groups. There's lots of them going on. You have to reach out. Just just reach out once. And we'll do what we can to support you. Because what I've been going through has been no fun. I don't want any other parents to have to go through this on their own. Because that's exactly how we feel. Is we feel so alone. Doesn't matter how many people are around us. As a mother, you always say you've failed somewhere, because that wouldn't happen if you had done something right. And you have to learn to forgive yourself, and then you have to forgive the addict, because it's not them. It's the drug that makes them into somebody else. When they're sober, you get a glimpse of who they are. But when they're high, that's not your son or your daughter that you're talking to. That's the drug. And that drug enjoys manipulating you and lying to you, stealing from you. It's and then they get sober, and then the guilt comes. And that can be just as hard on them. And it's sad. It truly is sad that we can't help addicts more. Let's get rid of the stigma. Get rid of the stigma. Educate our little ones. Obviously at an age that they can understand. Stop being judgmental on people that are suffering with addictions. A lot of it comes, mental health. There's a trauma somewhere going on, and they might not even know what that trauma is. They're too afraid to find out what it is, because they don't want to face it. Can't cope with that pain. So we carry that. It's yeah, it was something I never expected my life to turn this way. Not once.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we have a good support group, and we help each other, and we vent and we talk and we cry. And if it wasn't for that group, I don't know where I would be today.
I've been to that group a couple of times. It's very good. I had the best bannock I've ever had in my life at that group. So
it's a good group.
Yeah. We've got some comments coming in here. Let's see. We've got Deneen. Deneen says, "You did what you could with what you had. You found an outlet for your helplessness. It's beautiful. You would simply take soup to do that."
Oh, thank you.
We've got another one. We've got Jessica. Jessica saying, "Thank you for sharing. You know what? I feel like to wait for that phone call. No, sorry. I know what it feels like to wait for that phone call or knock on the door. Glad you found
Yeah.
support. Keep taking care of yourself.
Mm.
Sorry to interrupt you there. I hope is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
No, just, if anybody wants to reach out, there's a group there every Thursday night at the Friendship Inn, 6 o'clock, and always welcome. The doors are always open for you guys. Just reach out. Just reach out and come and get some support. Even if you only attend once, just come once and just
Mm-hmm.
find your feet there,
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we don't have to let the timer run out. If you've said what you need to say this evening,
Yep, I
awesome.
have, Daniel, and thank you so much for letting me come on.
You're very welcome, Andrea. Thank you. Stay safe out there tonight, and
Thank you, you too.
yeah, we'll see you again.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Yeah, bye bye.